Okay, so here we go. March the 16th. Welcome. We're getting into district play now in the high school season. So coaches, if they aren't already a bit energetic, things probably are going to be heating up a bit now. So let's jump right in. Hopefully you have your rule book with you because we're going to be referencing that a lot. And then if you can, take a moment and change your name on your Zoom just so Kurt's monitoring who's all on these on a week-to-week basis just to see who's logging in and getting some good rules exposure. So make sure that it says your name if at all possible. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, as I will start every slide, every meeting, that I'm really approaching this time as just a opportunities for improvement for me to continue to jump in and learning more of the rules and what they actually says and memorizing them and internalizing them more. But also that we can learn from each other's experiences. And then we take those experiences and we share them with others. I actually had a conversation on the phone with Don yesterday, and he just wanted me to echo or just reiterate that these meetings are great avenues for us to continue to get into the rules, but it doesn't stop here. If we take what we learn and then we all go work a game tomorrow or Friday, and in our pregame, we're like, hey, we discussed this rule, and then we take our own rule book and we go in there, well, then there's a ripple effect to it. It spreads to the next guy, and then it can spread to the next guy after that. So hopefully we can get more people on here listening to it in the first place. But then if not, then we can just start the ripple effect of, hey, we are a chapter that's really into the rules. It's wanting to actually get to know what it says and how it applies to our game. So I've got three rules for us to go, and then we got some plays. This first one is a real simple one, but it's been brought to my attention. And so, and it's kind of trendy, and I figured I'd jump real quick. So the rule of overrunning first base, it's in Rule 2 or 8.2, Article 7. That's on page 49 of your rule book if you want to flip to that real quick. And basically it says the batter runner who reaches first base safely and then overruns or overslides may immediately return without liability of being put out, provided he doesn't attempt to or feint to advance to second. This is really common sense stuff when it refers to a batted ball. We are really good about that. Or even a strike 3 in the dirt kind of thing where he can advance to first base and he overruns first base like that. Those are all no-brainers. That's just in our culture. But there is a new trend that's starting to come out, and it's like the hard 90 trend where coaches and players are all trying to, get everybody to sprint from the plate to first base and run through first base in every circumstance. So this is, what, as I just mentioned, a ground out, a single, a base hit, or the newest trend is doing a hard 90 on a base on balls, on a walk. And although we don't think of a walk being a batter runner, or a batter turning into a batter runner when he is awarded ball 4. But if we go and we look in what actually this says, when a batter turns into a runner, getting ball 4, being awarded ball 4, an intentional base on balls, makes by rule this batter a batter runner. Therefore, he is protected under this overrun a first base rule. So it looks funky. It probably sounds funky. And you're thinking, what are they doing that for? That's really dumb. Well, it is. It's just a trend. So please don't get caught off guard. If you have a guy that is walked on ball 4 and he takes off and sprints down the first base line, he is legally able to overrun or overslide first base and then return back safely without being put out, provided he doesn't feint or actually attempt to advance to second base. So hopefully that's pretty simple, cut and dry for us. Let's jump into another one that was kind of brought up last week. And I did some good study on this, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk about batting out of order. So please, I really want you to get your rule book out. If you have it, get it out. And let's flip into Rule 7, Section 1, Article 1 and 2. That's on page 43, and it actually goes over to 44 as well. And just in reading batting out of order, you need to be thinking of there are 3 situations or 3 conditions that when you have batting out of order. The first one is where it is recognized too soon. And as we'll see in just a second, that's either offense or defense can recognize it. That's too soon. That's basically when the improper batter is still at the plate, okay? When it's recognized, then you're not going to have any penalty. You're not going to have any outs. You're simply just going to replace the batter. The next one is the really meat and potatoes one. That's when it's just right. That's when you're actually going to have some sort of penalty involved. And that is when it is recognized the moment after the improper batter does something offensively, whether he reaches base or gets put out or something like that. But the recognition has to be before the next recorded pitcher play. And that one, you will have a penalty. You will have an out recorded, and we'll talk about that more in a bit here. The third one is where you recognize it too late. Again, in this situation, there's not going to be any penalty. There's not going to be any out made. And that's basically after the next play has happened and the coach, kind of goes, oh, shoot, oh, my gosh, he batted out of order. And, we've already pitched 3 pitches to the next batter. And, that's that. So we're going to take a little bit more time with each of these 3 sections, and then we've got a couple examples. So here we go. Too soon. This is in Article 1, again, on page 43. This is when the improper batter is recognized by either team, offense or defense, while he's still at bat. And if you have this one come up, you need to be singing your praises, because this is the easy one. This is the one where nothing really ice-breaking is going to happen, and you're going to be able to roll the game right again and be like, yeah, we never made that mistake in the first place. So here we go. The improper batter is recognized during the at-bat. How you fix it? Simply, you just replace the batter with the proper batter, okay? The proper batter comes up to the plate and assumes all the count. So if the improper batter took 3 balls, the proper batter will come up and assume a 3-0 count as well. Here's the catch, though, is all other actions during the improper portion of the at-bat still count. So if there's a stolen base or a balk or anything along those lines, that still happens. That still counts statistically. That still counts. But the proper batter just comes in and assumes the count. And again, no outs are recorded in this one. This is too soon. There's no penalty for this. You just simply switch the batters, and you go from there. All right. Now, this is the one that's just right. This is the one that's a little bit confusing, and we actually have to bounce back and forth to really understand a full thing. So put your finger in Article 1 of your rule book, but then you're also going to be looking at penalties, which is penalty 1, penalty 2, and penalty 4. So this is, again, a little complicated mix. So let's break it down. So the improper batter is recognized by the defensive team only. This is a situation where the defense can only notice it, okay? After he has completed a time at bat by either reaching base or being put out. Ways that you can reach base: you get a base hit, you get walked, you get hit. Things that you can get put out on: you can ground out, you can pop out, you can strike out. Any other of those ways are all ways that you can complete your time at bat. At that moment, the appeal must be made by the defensive team again before the next legal or illegal pitch, play or attempted play, or if it's at like the half inning, all defensive players leave the diamond for the half inning. That timing portion is so important for knowing when you can get this, apply this rule properly, okay? And this is why it says just right, because there's a really small window that has got to be fit in, okay? So what is the penalty for all of this? Well, this is where you got to know your terms. The proper batter is called out, okay? The proper batter, you have to keep thinking of yourself. So if the improper batter just happened, that means that you're going to have a penalty, okay? But the penalty is the proper batter is out. So you look up your lineup, you look at your lineup card, and you think, who should have been at bat? Okay, that person should have been at bat. So that's the out. No matter what happened on the play, as it says in that little asterisk, an out for batting out of order supersedes an out by the improper batter on the play. We'll get to some examples in this, but the out for the penalty of batting out of order is the proper batter, the one that should have been at the plate. He is called out. Okay. Now, how do you enforce this further? all runners must return to the base they occupied at the time of pitch. That would be the time of the last pitch of the at-bat. So if he's walked, it's the time of pitch of ball 4, like where that pitcher was when ball 4 was out. If it's a strikeout, it's that time of pitch there. If he gets a base hit, it's the time of pitch of where of when the ball was hit. Okay, so all runners go back to time of pitch. And then this is the part that gets really confusing. Play resumes with the batter whose name on your lineup card follows that of the proper batter that was just called out. And that's outlined in penalty 4. So lots of things going on here, but we've got to remember the important chunks to this, okay? So when we have an improper batter that completes an at-bat, he gets on base, gets put out. The appeal happens before the next action, pitch, illegal pitch, play, attempted play, or players leaving the infield. That's the proper thing. Now we have to think, what is a penalty? The proper batter is out. Everybody goes back to the time of the previous pitch, and then play resumes with the name that follows the proper batter that was just called out. That out supersedes any out that the improper batter made during the play. So we'll talk about a few examples on this one as well, but I think it's worth just repeating and rereading and going over and over and over again, okay? Now, again, thankfully on the back end of this, noticing it too late, which is in penalty 3, again, is really the easy part. If you have pitches taken after the improper batter, you should be singing praises. Yay, we got away with one because nothing else can happen, okay? So noticing it too late means that the improper batter was recognized after the next legal pitch, illegal pitch, play, attempted play, or all the fielders left the diamond at the end of a half inning, okay? So that means that you got away with one. Now, how do you resume player? The improper batter then becomes the proper batter. So if you skip somebody, that person just got skipped. If they leapfrog people, well, then that person is now there, and you got to go with who is the next person in line. And again, this is on your lineup card. It's so important that you are following the names of the lineup cards. I know we have numbers on the players, but numbers on the lineup card don't mean anything. It's the names on the lineup card that mean things. And that's sometimes a little tricky that you may have to ask for some clarification. So again, play resumes with the name that follows the legalized improper batter. And that's listed in penalty 5 for you. And just a one little note, this is the same if there is no appeal made at all. Oftentimes that you'll have a scorebook keeper, you know, if you're in a neutral site running a playoff game or something like that, that a bookkeeper will come down to you and say, hey, do you realize that they batted out of order and stuff like that? This is where no team made the appeal. And so you just roll it. The order is the name who follows the now legalized improper batter. And same with the too early, no out is recorded in this situation as well. Okay, so we have too early, we have just right, and we have too late. Let's talk through a couple of situations. All right, so situation 1, here we go. Thank you, Hillsborough, for giving me permission to use your lineup card. I'm kidding, no, they didn't give me permission. We're just going to go with it anyway. Steely gets a base hit and is safely on first base. Be good there. Runner at R1. Timms digs into the box. The first pitch, Steely steals second base safely while there's a ball 1 to the batter. Second pitch is called a strike. There's now a 1-1 count. Prior to the third pitch, the overzealous base umpire calls a balk and awards Steely third base. Now the offensive coach notices that Timms is the improper batter. Notice I said the offensive coach. He calls time and brings Cook up to bat. So we all got the situation. Steely is batting, gets a single. Timms comes up, he's in the wrong spot. He takes pitch ball 1, so runner steals. We have strike 1. We got a balk call while he's still at bat, and now the offensive coach is recognized. Oh my goodness, Timms is the wrong batter. It should be Cook. Time. Let me bring up Cook to bat, and I want to correct my error. This is in the situation of too soon. That means there's no penalty at all. The offensive coach did a really good job of noticing and correcting his error when he had the opportunity to. The proper batter, which is Cook, is brought to the plate. He assumes a 1-1 count. And it's important to know that all other actions during this at-bat count. So the stolen base is good, the ball still counts, and we have a 1-on-1 play count. And you're, going, whew, we got away with one, and put the ball back in play, and you go from there. Okay. Situation 1. Here we go. Let's go with another one. Situation 2. Sanders ended the previous inning with a ground out. So let's say this is the top of the 3rd inning. Sanders is the last out, and they go in. Now we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Now we're coming to the top of the 4th. All right. To start the next inning, Nadell comes up to bat. He hits the first pitch to center field for a base hit. So now he's standing on first base, applauding himself, shooting the bow and arrow because, he got a base hit that, he normally was 0 for the previous game. Defensive coach very calmly comes time, walks up to you and says, hey, Caleb, just want to let you know that Nadell batted out of order. They skipped Macinas. Macinas should have been the proper batter. Can we get this fixed? And you take out your lineup card and you look at it. Sanders ended the last inning. Macinas was the proper batter, and he didn't bat. Nadell was the improper batter. So we have a timing of just right. Now, the proper batter, who was Macinas, he is now called out. All right. So our first out of the inning is Macinas being called out for batting out of order. How do we resume play? Well, because we have this situation, we resume play with the name following who the proper batter was that was just called out. So play resumes with Nadell back at the plate again, but with the bases empty and 1 out. Okay, so will Nadell get to bat 2 times in a row, essentially? Yes, but the first time it doesn't count because he was an improper batter. The proper batter was called out. And now you must follow the name that follows the batter that was called out. So Nadell starts this one, or Nadell comes back to the plate, bases empty with 1 out. Okay, so hopefully you're kind of getting the idea that it really helps you to look at your lineup card and think, who is the proper batter? That's where our out's going to be. And then we're going to continue with the guy right after that. Okay, we got a few more situations with this one. So here we go. Situation 3, Cook starts the inning off with a single. Steely comes to bat and sacks bunt. Man, Steely's having a hard time. By the way, you notice the order that we went in. Okay, Steely comes to bat and lays down a beautiful sack bunt. But Steely is put out on the play with Cook advancing to second. Again, a very smart baseball coach. We'll just name him Caleb Overstreet for now. Comes out and calls time. Carl Queeby, hey, Steely was not the proper batter there. That they batted out of order. Can we fix this? And you take out your lineup card and you look. I'll be darned. Cook was my batter. The proper batter should have been Timms, but he didn't have bat. Who the heck batted? Oh my gosh, that was Steely. Wow, what was Steely thinking? He shouldn't have batted there. So how do we penalize this? Well, again, this is just right. The timing is just right for you to get it. The proper batter, which is Timms, will be the out. Remember, the out for batting out of order supersedes any out on the play. So the sack bunt that Steely put down on the play, that doesn't count anymore. Okay, we have the out for Timms being the proper batter calling out. Cook must return to the base occupied at time of pitch, which was first base. And then play will resume with Verba coming into bat. Because Timms was the proper batter that was called out, we must resume with the following person after that. Okay, and this is why it's really important, just again, looking at your lineup, when you have these situations, slow down, look at the names. It's the names that are important. Okay, hopefully this repetition is getting a little bit clearer. We've got one more for us. All right, so here we go. This one's going to get a little bit fun. Vargas is standing on second base. Sanders is on first base. Macinas is at bat. So we got runners at first and second. Macinas takes ball 4, and now he walks to first base. We good so far? Steely steps into the box, and he hits the first pitch 450 feet over the center field wall. Bat flips it like nobody's business, pimps it all the way down to first base because guess what? This team hasn't won a game all season, and they're about to win it because it's in the top of the 7th, and they just took a 3-run lead. As he's trotting around the bases, the pitcher is very frustrated with himself. Man, I can't believe I gave up the lead. Oh my gosh, my coach is going to kill me. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. You know how they reach out for there. You toss the ball, he catches it, pound in his glove. You know, he's digging in there. He's just ready for the next batter to come in at bat. Very quickly, the next batter comes in, digs into the box, and the pitcher is extremely frustrated, throws a pitch just a bit outside for ball one. The defensive coach frantically calls time and realizes that, oh my goodness gracious, that Steely was not the right batter. That shouldn't have happened. That we've got to get this fixed. But he's too late. His pitcher had already pitched a pitch. So in this situation, this is too late. Because a pitch was thrown, the grand slam counts. Cook is now acting as the proper batter, and play continues. And how does this get marked on a score sheet in case anybody wants? Well, Steely is just skipped. That spot is just left blank on the lineup in the official book because that first pitch was thrown. The next play, the next appeal, the next something happened that the opportunity for that appeal is now no more. So. Just reiterating, there are three situations where we have to think of when we're talking batting out of order. Too soon, which is while the player is still at bat and no outs are recorded. You have too late, which means that something else already happened after the batter completed his at bat. So a pitch, a play, or something like that. And again, on that one, no out is recorded. It's that middle window where after he finishes, but before the next play, that's where it's just right. That is where it's recognized. And you remember, the proper batter is always your out that you're going to get. And that out supersedes any out that's made on the play. So hopefully that this is a rule that you can study some more, dog-ear that page 43, because it's a little confusing to read. But once you get it and kind of get it internalized, I hope it'll be a little bit easier for you. So there's batting out of order. Before I go into the next section, any burning questions or comments or concerns over batting out of order before I move on? Great, let's keep going. All right, force play slide rule. I've had some conversations about this and how on earth does it apply in the high school game, and honestly, I think this is one of the most poorly written rules in the high school rule book because you should not have to look up 3 different places for one rule. Anyway, I digress. So force play slide rule is introduced in Rule 8.4, Article 2B and 2F. That's on page 54 of your rule book. And the rule actually brings in 3 different concepts, and I've highlighted them for you here. So forgive me for actually quoting the rule book, but it's just the language here. We just really got to dog through our way. So 2B says a runner is out when, here's the first part, he does not legally slide and causes illegal contact. That is situation 1. Situation 2, illegally alters the actions of a fielder in the immediate act of making a play. That's situation 2. Situation 3 is, or on a force play, does not slide in a direct line between the bases. Okay, so we'll talk about that first. Now, we get to some further clarifications that I think doesn't clarify anything, actually makes it worse. So clarification 1 says a runner may slide in a direction away from the fielder. Okay, that's good. Fielder's here, he slides over here, we're all good, happy and dandy. All right. The next one is weird though. It says runners are never required to slide. Okay, so we're talking about force play slide rule, but yet they're not required to slide. That doesn't make any sense. But if the runner elects to slide, the slide must be legal. What is a legal slide? Why do they not talk about a legal slide? We'll get to that in a second. Jumping, hurdling, and leaping are all legal. However, the fielder must be on the ground. Now, this is an important one. This is where kind of a rule to keep in your back pocket. Diving over a fielder is illegal. Call time, call him out. That's the penalty for that. There's a lot of times where they're trying to avoid the tag. Diving over a fielder is illegal in high school baseball. Just put that in the back of your brain because it will happen one of these days to you. All right, so let's clarify all this. I don't think this page makes any sense as to how it affects force play slide rule. So let's see if we can dig a little deeper and make some sense of it all. So let's talk first about a legal slide. In order to know what a legal slide is, we have to go way back to Rule 2 which is on page 24. So 232, section 2, talks about a legal slide. A legal slide has to be head first or feet first. If it's head first, there's really only one way to slide head first, and you're just going to be sliding, Superman style. There's not much regulation on that. However, if there's feet first, there's a couple of things to be in mind. That you have to have one leg and one butt on the ground for it to be a legal slide. So think about the art of sliding. So you're going to have one. I'm sitting here trying to demonstrate in my chair, and y'all can't see me, so I'm going to stop right now. So you've got one leg that's outstretched. You have the other leg that's kind of angled underneath your knee, and then you're sliding on your rear. That is how a legal slide is described, and it has to be that way as well. So one leg on the ground and one butt on the ground as well. Now, when you're sliding, slides must be within the reach of a base. What is a reach? That means that you can reach it with your hand, or that means you can reach it with your foot. Okay, that's just on a normal slide, on a normal tag play. That's not specifically talking about a force play. We'll get to that one in just a moment. And again, here it mentions those again as before, you can always slide away from the fielder. If you're sliding away from the fielder, there is no regulation on how the slide, and it could be as ugly as you can imagine. But as long as it's away from the fielder, we're okay. Still, now we got a little clarification on legal slide, but how does that help us in enforcing this force play slide rule? Well, if we know what a legal slide is, let's talk about what an illegal slide is. Rolling crossbody or pop-up slides into the fielder. I wish I should have highlighted that. Those are all illegal slides. So a runner running hard into second base, sliding right into second base and popping up, that is an illegal slide. That is interference by rule right there, okay? Raised leg higher than the fielder's knee, and chances are if his leg is up and he makes contact, we're gonna have malicious contact. Malicious contact is an ejection and an out, but we'll save that for another presentation. An illegal slide is a slide that goes beyond the base and makes contact with or alters the play of the fielder. And I said except at home, because home doesn't have a plate, it's just a base, but we'll talk more about that one in a second. Slashes or kicks the fielder, tries to injure the fielder. And finally, some further clarification on a force play does not slide on the ground and in a direct line between the two bases. Okay, so we're getting some clarification. We're having to find at random places, but we're getting some clarification. So force play slide rule, if they choose to slide, it must be a legal slide. So head first or feet first, one leg on the ground, one butt on the ground, right into the base or away from the base. Okay, so we're getting clearer now. And oh yeah, please make sure that pop-up slides are still illegal as well. All right. Whew. Now let's see if we can go to the next section. So at a force play at any other base other than first. So please throw first base out. Yes, I know plays at first base are technically force plays. We're not talking about that. We're talking second, third, or home, okay? A runner must not alter the actions of the fielder. So think about flailing of his arms, jumping up, verbally, anything like that. Those are all different forms of interference. And then letter F. So see where we were, and then go down to letter F. To F, it finally says that he has to attempt to avoid the fielder or the play on a force play. So now I think we have the whole picture of a force play slide rule. So we have a ground ball, and we know that it's going to be a force play. The runner going into second base, first thing we need to know is he does not have to slide. However, if he doesn't slide, he must avoid the fielder or the play on the force play, okay? So he must make an attempt to avoid that, all right? If he does choose to slide, his slide must be directly into the base or completely slide away from the fielder. And we need to remember that it still must be a legal slide. Legal slide, one leg, one butt on the ground, going into the base. Pop-up slide is not one of those. So that is finally the whole picture of force play slide rule. And I wish that it was a lot more clear that we could just say, oh, go to rule such and such, and read it. It's called the force play slide rule. But it's not that way. It is really hidden in the rule book quite a way. So let's further work to clarify this. So this is a diagram of a play into second base. So we have a force play slide rule. Remember, he doesn't have to slide. If he chooses not to slide, he can avoid the fielder, avoid the play, and still be just fine, okay? But if he is going into the base and he does choose to slide, the red area is the protected area of the fielder. The blue area where the arrow is showing that the player must slide directly in line to second base. He can't go past it. He is to go directly in. Now, if the fielder is over here, as we've already stated, he can slide to the other side of the base and get way out of the way, and we're not going to go picking that at all because he's away from the plate. That's protected. But if he slides on this side, and this is where the player is as well, then we have a violation of force play rules violation. Let's talk about home plate. Home plate has the same rule. So if the bases are loaded and we have a force play coming at the plate, he still must slide directly in line. However, the continuation effect doesn't occur the same way that it happens at second or third base. In that, again, the red areas on either side of home plate is where the fielder is protected. The runner must slide directly into home plate in a straight line between third and home. And he can always slide away from the fielder, out of the way, and he doesn't have to slide. However, if he doesn't slide, he still must make an attempt to avoid the play or not to interfere. So hopefully this is giving a little more clarity with the picturing and everything. Now, what is the absolute penalty for it? Well, first of all, you're going to call time. Interference in high school baseball is an immediate dead ball. You're going to call time. The runner is out, and on a force play slide rule with less than 2 outs, the batter runner is also going to be called out. And that is by rule. It doesn't matter how safe the batter runner was at first, he is still going to be called out. Okay, so if we have a force play slide rule violation, we're going to call time. We're going to say, that's interference. We're going to call the batter out, and then we're going to look to we're going to call the runner out, and then we're going to look to the batter runner, and we are going to call him out as well. We will get 2 outs. If there is already 2 outs in the inning, we're just going to call time and call the runner out, and we're going to go on with it. The batter runner actually gets charged with the fielder's choice for official scoring if you are interested in how that applies, but you're just going to get 1 out there because that's the 3rd out of the inning. Here's the key thing that I think that there is any part of force play slide rule that we are going to miss. It's this next part, is that runners have to return to their base occupied at the time of pitch. So if you have bases loaded, ground ball to the shortstop, and you have a force play slide rule violation, interference at second base, you're going to call time, get the runner that's going to second base out, you're going to turn and get the batter runner out at first base, and then you are going to put both runners back at third and second, and you're going to continue the inning. That's the part that I think coaches don't understand. That's the part I think umpires don't confidently enforce. So please be empowered. That is the rule. We need to enforce it that way as well. Just logistically, who enforces the force play slide rule? Well, I like to think that it's the base umpire's primary responsibility because he's right there. He's the one looking at the play, and I think he's got a great look at it. I know that we're still turning and trying to get a look at first base. So if the turn happens and he's really quick and you're trying to get that play at first base, the plate umpire helps out and has secondary responsibility. I think it looks kind of bad if you have a base umpire looking at second base, and you have a plate umpire that's looking at second base as well, and then the base umpire is looking at it and doesn't say something, and then the plate umpire says something with them both looking at the same play from 120 feet away. I think that looks pretty bad. So that's why I would say give the base umpire the first shot at it. If he turns and takes the play to first base or a secondary play of any kind, plate umpire absolutely can come help out with that and make a crew call and get that out, because this is a player safety rule. We want to make sure that our shortstops and second basemen are protected in those quick turns, or even the third baseman that's trying to go, 5-3 double play. So be empowered, know this rule. The runner is out, time, the ball is dead immediately. You're going to get the batter runner out as well, and then all runners are going to return to their base occupied at the time of pitch. So force play slide rule. Let me see. I got some videos next. Carl's got his hand raised. Go.
Just going to say, remember the key factor is, did he make contact or alter the play? He can illegally slide all he wants if he doesn't make contact or alter the play. So it's not an automatic, oh, he didn't slide in a straight line, we got 2 outs. He's still got to do something to affect the play or make contact. So he's got to either bump the shortstop or the second baseman, or he's got to make the second baseman or shortstop do something to avoid him before you have an automatic double play. So that's the easiest thing to remember. Is like the coach says, hey, he ran all the way to left field. So what if he didn't touch anybody and he didn't make the guy dodge him? It's still nothing. So that's another time where you can do that's nothing when he comes by, even if he has an illegal slide. So.
Sorry, I'm reading up real quick. All right, thanks, Carl. Anything else on this one, on force play slide rule? Cool. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some plays. So before I get going, I am trying to collect an arsenal of high school baseball clips from our area. So these are schools that we umpire. These are umpires in our chapter. And I'm wanting to highlight as many great umpiring moments that I can, because we have good umpires in Waco. We are doing really great things as far as umpiring is concerned. And I want to make sure that I highlight those things. Oftentimes coaches are always telling us, oh, how bad things are. And yes, we have rules that we need to get better at. Yes, we have mechanics that we need to get better at, but there is still lots of good going on. And so I think it's important that we highlight something. So here's a game from Waco ISD. I want to sit back and watch. We'll play this back a handful of times and we'll notice a few things about the umpiring crew that's going on here. So here we go. All right, so let's back it up. So we see that there is a runner at first and third. All right, runners at first and third, and our base umpire is in B position. So we have a possible double play here. As a plate umpire, I'm giving him the sign that says, 1 out, 2 outs, no outs, whatever it is, but I'm going up to third base on a clean base hit. He's giving me the sign, I'm staying here, taking care of the infield, going on this side, and we're going to rotate that way. So on a ball is hit, watch the base umpire's first move. I want to brag on this base umpire real quick because the rule that they teach you is step up with the foot that the ball is hit on, the side it was hit on. So it's hit to his right. So if you watch, his first step is a big step up with his right foot, and then he's going to turn and see the ball and see what's happening. At this moment, it's pretty obvious that we're either going to have a base hit to the outfield, in which, notice the plate umpire is taking several hard steps down the third baseline because he's beginning to read, oh, well, I'm probably gonna have to rotate up here. Or we're going to have a play only at second base. In that scenario, he's gonna try and gain distance and direction to the only play at second base, which is exactly what happens. He gains distance and direction to second base. He doesn't have to worry about over here because he knows that there's not a chance that this is going to be a double play ball. This is only going to be a play at second base. He gets set. He reads it. He's got a player that's leaning maybe off the base and he's looking, does he saw the baseball? And then he makes his out call. Guys, if you talk about timing, this is great timing by an umpire. Let's play it a little before speed. Absolute great timing by a base umpire being able to read the whole play. Now let's look at the plate umpire for a second and see what is he possibly looking at. Well, we have a ball hit. Mask off with his left hand, clears the catcher to his left. He's reading possible base hit, which means rotation up to third. Possible not. Oh, goodness, he made the play. He is stopping. Take a look at this right out of the corner of his eye. It doesn't look very obvious, but he has a touch at home plate. But what is he also looking at? He is also secondary help with force play slide rule at second base. This is a force play. in good position to make a ruling should the situation be there. So touch at home plate, possibly helping out with force play slide rule, and then very eagerly just waits and goes, wow, my partner did a great job. Awesome. And we're getting ready for the next play. Last thing that I want to brag about this base umpire with is notice what he does after he makes the out call. I'm going to start right here. Notice what he does after he makes the out call. He bounces right back to his next position. This is where I know that this umpire knows the game of baseball, because that runner at first base is safe. He knows that he's just going right back to this B position. And then he's ready for the next play. Great job, base umpire. Really, really good umpiring there. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Oh, that's the same one. Let's go to the next one. Here we go. So now we got a little bit different situation. We have a runner at second base. I forget what this play is, but we'll find out in just a second. Wow, again, great umpiring by our base umpire here. So the ball is going to be hit a grounder in the infield. Again, look at that foot, look at the footwork. The ball is hit to his right, that right foot goes up, and he turns and faces the ball. Wow, that is just great umpiring instincts. Now, we have a possible interference with the runner coming from second to third base. If he interferes with the play, then we have an immediate dead ball. But as he turns, he's looking. He's ruled that, no, we don't have any interference, and he is coming across saying that's nothing. Also, something to point out that the direction the umpire is moving is he's not moving backwards. He is gaining distance and direction towards this 45-foot line right here. Why? Because that's how he builds his best angle. That's how he builds his best angle. So he's got safe, that's nothing. The throw is made. He gets set. Look how set he is. This is where, again, the critical moments of the play are happening. He's reading it, and we've got a call safe off the bag, and he's got great timing, great authority through it. Excellent job. Way to go, base umpire. Now, let's take a look at what the plate umpire does here, because, again, we have a runner at second and third base in this play. So the plate umpire is staying home. He's got touches at home, but he still can be a help in this. So ball's hit, mask off with your left hand, but this is, you know that the play's coming towards you. So in this one, you just retreat back. Let the play happen, kind of take it all in. But as the play goes to first base, notice the plate umpire moves to what we call first base extended. First base line down here, it keeps extending to where the plate umpire is. What is he looking down there for? Well, he has help potentially for swipe tags, for pulled foots. He still has overthrow responsibilities over here. Even though a runner is coming home, he still has those responsibilities. But also by putting himself in the first baseline extended, he allows himself to have the runner come right in his field of vision and touch home plate. He knows he's got the touch of home as well. And if you look at the umpire's head move, I don't know if it's as clear on your screen, but there's one other thing that the plate umpire has. He also has the touch at third. So if you can look right now, he's looking at third base to make sure that, hey, we've got a touch at third and this runner isn't trying to do something stupid. So let's run this back one more time, full speed. Great umpiring here. Awesome job. Way to go. Let's go to one more play. All right, so in this one, we're going to have a play at the plate, and we're going to talk just briefly about how we can be moving with the play to make sure that we maintain the wedge. So the ball gets away. But the movement of the plate umpire is what I wanted to talk about. So this is a stolen base. Pitch comes in. Pitch is ruled on a strike. Okay, and just something else to notice here, that the strike happens, but the plate umpire is glancing at third base to see what the runner is doing. Right now, I see the runner making a break for the plate. What you can't see on this video is that I immediately start telling the batter, get out, get out, get out. Why? Because I don't want him to interfere with the play and us to have to enforce another rule. So as the throw comes, I'm starting to read the play, read the runner, and watch where the catch. Now I'm literally trying to mimic whatever the catcher does. I start point of plate extended, and this play is going to come at me really fast. So the throw comes, and the throw is up the line. So my angle has to change. I now know that the tag is not going to happen here. The tag is going to happen on the back side of the bag. So I have to try and get further into the wedge. And if you look here, I am looking between the catcher's knee and the helmet, trying to get the touch of this back point of the plate. And you'll see I actually come up with a safe sign before I realize that the ball is loose. Why? Because I had him safe no matter even if there was a tag or not. So touch there, and I come up with a safe. Look where I end. My angle is looking literally parallel, perpendicular to the inside batter's box lines. That's just where the play took me. I had to start point of plate, and I saw and I read that the play was coming around because the throw is up, and the play is going to be on the back side of the base. And I got there and made the safe call. Okay. Now, if I had an out, I would have asked the catcher, hey, show me the ball, make sure he has it, and then I would have come up with it. But obviously, since the ball scooted away, the runner would have been ruled safe. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some footwork in how to take this play at the plate. Now, a couple things to notice in this. From here, we have a play at the plate. Take a look at the base umpire is doing. The base umpire is looking at the play because you always want to be looking at the ball. What thing could have taken a different way is that this base umpire should have been going with this runner. That runner was going to third base, and now he kind of takes off going with it. That's a little bit late. Now the ball's to the backstop. That's probably not likely to have a play there. But at this time, this is the only runner that the base umpire is responsible for. So go ahead and drop down further into the working area, further down towards third base, and be ready just in case something happens. Another little advanced kind of thing that's not required, but certainly helps your ability to see the big picture is notice I'm watching the ball, I'm watching the runner, I'm watching the ball, I'm watching the runner. Your head has to be on a swivel so you don't get caught off guard by what's coming next. That runner from third very easily could have come home and tried. One last thing is I tossed the mask here out of the way because if we have another play that's coming, the runner will be coming here, the throw would be coming here. My wedge would look a lot differently. I would be taking this play from the infield side of the plate, and the mask would have been in my way had there been another play coming. So I just was aware, and I sensed that something was possibly in my area, and I just bent down and gave it a toss. So let's watch this one more time, full speed. Here's a play at the plate that happens real quick. Awesome. So those are 3 plays that I wanted to highlight this week. Let me get my my participants back up. Goodness, I lost it. There you guys are. All right, so I end my session again. I always say that we're gonna stay an hour and work and discuss things for an hour. So we got about 10 minutes left. So status update from your games. Has anything happened? Do you have a question? Do you have plays? Anything that has to do with the points of emphasis? Those are found on page 66, 7 of our rule book. Please make sure that you are talking to coaches about jewelry, about sportsmanship, about staying in the dugout, about buckets. Oh, what other one was there? I'm missing a couple ones. But how are your dugouts this week? How's sportsmanship overall? Are we consistently enforcing jewelry? All those things. Anybody have a status update? Okay, this is where I be quiet now and someone else talk and take over. Go. Carl's got his hand up. I can't tell if that's from something previously or if it's an old one or if it's a new one.
That's leftover.
That's leftover. I'm not.
Oh, and just FYI, the high school force play slide rule is way better because they can go in standing up even if somebody drops the ball out in the outfield when there's not a play being made on them, and
All right. Well,
still.
I don't want to bring up anything else contrary to what we talked about today, so because I don't want to confuse anybody.
Oh, that's
So,
why the rule says they don't have to slide though. That's the no slide part of the rule.
yep. Anybody else? Anybody have any plays to discuss? Henry, you got anything?
We had our funky play at Crawford.
Is this the one you already previously talked to me about?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you tell people? Because I still don't have an answer for it.
All right. So we have 2 outs and a runner on third. And ball 4 is a wild pitch. And we're at Crawford where the dugouts are like way up by the base. So it's it's not as far as it is at Connolly, but it's pretty damn far to the dugout in Crawford. So the ball is bounding up toward the first base dugout. The runner on third scores easily. The batter runner is doing as Caleb indicated, so he's running a hard 90 to first base. So just about the time he passes first base, the helpful on deck batter picks up the ball and tosses it to the catcher. So now what do we got?
Still have an out for interference.
Who's out?
Third base runner.
Why? He's already scored before the interference occurred.
Because he's the only option left for your out since first base legally acquired on a.
So why can't you call the first base guy out? Only possible play that could be made is on the guy at first.
Because it was
the other guy's already scored.
Because it's a pitched baseball.
I think that this is our great debate that we have in this situation is that the batter runner is protected by being awarded ball 4. Ball 4 is not something that
he's protected to first.
Ball 4 is basically an award. He is able to run to first base, overrun. He is entitled to first base.
Right.
Okay. So in the situation of the interference that the on-deck batter has, I mean, I too think that the only eligible player that potentially could be put out or that could be called out is R3, and that's because by rule he is not entitled to the plate. I think that is what the rule and I
disagree because the only guy that you can call out is the guy that potential play is being made on, and there is no play on the R3 because he's already scored well before the interference occurs.
But remember, interference is one of those things that goes back to the time of pitch. Goes back to the time of pitch. And
not if everybody's already acquired a base, it doesn't. Everybody's already acquired a base before the interference occurs.
Kurt, you may be right. I am so anxious. I want you to send this one to McNeely. I really do. I want this to be coming in an email with with brought to you by Carl Queeby, attorney at law, in the title to everybody in the state. But I really
sent it to McNeely. He hadn't responded yet. Oh,
you did send it to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean that is a once in a lifetime play, but it is quite the one to talk about. So I do not have I really don't have a ruling on it. I have my opinion, but I can't find anything set in stone in the rule book, and I've looked pretty extensively. So I hope that we get a.
There's probably something in the case book, but who knows?
Maybe, yeah, maybe so. All right, hey, we got about 4 minutes left. Anybody else have one? This is where we talk about the craziness. And guys, please do not feel like I'm going to make fun of you or get you down for asking a silly question or a simple question. We're here to learn. We're here to, again, share experiences with each other. And I want to help us get better. That's the bottom line is I want to help us get better. So Any other situations? All right, well, I'll end with this one. So y'all can see my lovely green screen. Yes. Whoops. Can y'all see my lovely green screen?
Yep.
Okay. We have a runner at first base. We have a runner at second base. Umpires in C position, umpires behind the plate. Okay. We have a looping pop-up that is not routinely catchable by an infielder that lands right about here, give or take 5 to 10 feet. All right. This runner, fearing that the ball is going to get caught, kind of staggers right here. This runner, taking a risk of being an absolute idiot, runs all the way to second base. We have the batter runner that's now coming up the baseline and is sitting here thinking, and this is a sky blooper where the second baseman's running backwards. You can't see it. It's on a windy day. He's doing one of these little things and no one calls, I've got it, I've got it. And what does the ball do? It drops. So now we have a right fielder who's coming in, charging the ball, and he's got a cannon. He picks up the ball and he throws a dart right on the money to third base. This runner who's coming into third base now is sliding into the base. Pause for a second. What kind of play is this at third base?
Force.
It is a force play. And I think this kind of caught our umpire a little bit by surprise, but it still is a force play. Yes, a bounding ball to the outfield can still be put in as a force play. So we have a play at third base. Our U1 drops back and takes this play right here. Remember, it is a force play. Does this mean that force play slide rule is in effect? Yes. Does this mean that we could possibly get the batter runner out, even though the batter runner is possibly rounding second and standing right here going, oh my goodness gracious, I finally got a base hit? Yes. By rule, if we have a force play slide here at third base, the batter runner is going to be out. So in this situation, what happened was the umpire ruled the runner safe, but he ruled it in a way that it looked like he was looking for a swipe tag. And of course, one team starts coming up, that's a force play, that's a force play, that's a force play. I called time and I walked out to my partner and I asked him, I said, hey, just mentally thinking, were you reading that play as a tag play where you were looking for a tag, or were you reading that as a force play? And we kind of had to process through it for a little bit. And we decided that, yes, I read it as a force play. And I do believe that the runner beat the ball and the tag was not necessary, even though the player didn't try to apply a swipe tag, the tag was not necessary. And we're going to stick with a safe call. And I walk away and the coach comes out to talk with him. And basically the conversation was this: yes, my partner confirmed to make sure that we knew that that was a force play and that I did officiate it according to as a force play. And we're going to stick with our safe call. The coach looked at him and said, I think you're wrong, and turned around and walked away. Now, this was a bit of a situation where it made us both look kind of funky, like we didn't know what we were doing. But in reality, it was making sure that we were on the same on the same page to make sure that we possibly, or that make sure that we officiated this call correctly. So even though the ball is bounding in the outfield, it still can be a force play. It still can be a force play slide rule in effect as well. So it is now 9:31. Oh my goodness, I kept you 1 minute over. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Hope you learned something about batting in order, about force play slide rule, and just seeing opportunity, good umpiring. So I hope that I will have more videos to show. Please continue to invite other guys that you work with. Talk to your partners in your next game on Friday about what we talked about. Get that discussion going, and then we'll see you back here next week. Again, 8:30, 9:30, 1 hour long. And we'll be on to another topic then. So until then, thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the evening and good luck this week with district play going.